touching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Oh yeah, when I come into a room, this is the song that we will sing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. It's your host, Mag. I'm very excited and honored to have you here. It's been a pleasure to get started with what we're calling Metal Gear Solid Family. This is a project to try to bring the community together. Today is just me getting into some heavy duty spoiler alerts. Disclaimer, I'm going to jump into everything Metal Gear and jump into Kojima's new game, Death Stranding. The topic will be Death Stranding, but we'll start off with the Metal Gear Solid series because everything I have to explain will open your eyes to what Death Stranding is really going to present. It's a very powerful message, and I personally wanted to try to give the fan base and just the new people who are wondering what the hell is Kojima doing. We're trying to get into all of those great things today here in Otacon's awesome office, aka laboratory, where Gray Fox and Solid Snake had their battle. That being said, I want to thank everyone for the love and support in recent time, but we're gonna dive right into it without too much uh, breaking down parts. We want to dissect
I'm here to save you.
exactly what this whole project is going to be. First and foremost, I want you to take a look and enjoy some visuals as we go forward. I want to make sure that we have a nice setup overall for everyone to enjoy, and I'm sure you guys will love this as much as I will because Metal Gear is the best. That's all I gotta say. So, for the Metal Gear fans, before I get into this video, you're going to be watching cutscenes from every single installment. I'm going to start off with that as I break down the series and explain something that fans tend to miss the most out of the Metal Gear series, and it's probably the most important out of it. So you have the fun gameplay, you have the innovative mechanics, very special and always changing the industry with all of that. You have the people who focus on theories and ruses and what's real and what's not, and all of these fun back and forth to the community. You have the very deep political side, how every installment addresses the topics about these political issues in our society. And then you have what I love most, and what I've been writing about since 2001 and getting into, is Kojima's messages, Kojima's concepts and themes, and how they relate to the real life, to you as a person, to you as a player, to him as a developer. And this is usually the most important that wraps Kojima up into a special place with everything that he does. And I want to try to break it down as best as possible without getting too heavy duty for you guys. But we're going to just carry it slowly, small, simple concepts. First and foremost, I can get into the deep political side. Each installment addressed real life issues in the political world while still being relevant to a game and having a fiction storyline. Very powerful stuff. But the message of overall Metal Gear is anti-war. It is anti-nuclear. Those are the top two: anti-nukes and anti-war. And within those messages, you have these soldiers going through different things. And as we watch in this footage, which I'll rewind and get into, it is very important to understand that Kojima's message about all of this is really just a keynote about society and who we are as people and as humanity grows and evolves. Things change within that, and it's harder and harder to define, our focus on what is supposed to matter. So he really opens the door with a game about war, saying it's anti-war, and this is such a powerful message. You play through the whole game not killing a soul and get rewarded for that, and then there's a message also behind each game with these tactics, and these are very key parts of what this series and what Kojima's game design is actually meant to be. And a lot of times people miss out and focus on the fun gameplay, which is perfectly fine. We all love fun gameplay. What is a game without fun gameplay? What is a game without something innovative and new to experience? And what's a game without a great story, right? There's all of these concepts that are very important. But the deeper messages about who you are, what you're doing, these are where the game really opens the door and puts you in a better place. And now I want to just take a second and talk about it, because we're going to get into each installment real quick, and it's important that everybody just, respects his work on a different level. And easily, you're going to have fun playing these games, you're going to have fun enjoying the experience, but there's always another level. And we're going to start with Metal Gear Solid, the well-known first PlayStation one. And basically, in Metal Gear Solid 1, you get a quick story of just a retired soldier getting sent on a mission, and he ends up fighting through trying to stop this nuclear catastrophe. He finds the boss, who's the big bad guy, ends up being his twin brother, who hates his guts and says, you know, our father wasn't good enough. I'm gonna be better than him. And they get into all of these, you know, deep things about their genes, how they were created and cloned. Spoiler alert, they weren't cloned. But these factors start opening the door to what's happening in the world with society also. It's so focused on who we are, our genes, and all of these things that shouldn't be focused on and shouldn't be a factor. And the game's message, you know, is don't worry about your genes. You defined who you are. You defined everything that you're about. And it is such a vital message and a powerful one, to say the least. And I really appreciated it for being, when you see this amazing character, very charismatic, very, you know, badass superhero type of character named Solid Snake, and he goes through the mission and he's doing everything, and then his brother's thinking he's superior, so he wants to take him out. Little does he know that the one that was envious was actually the superior. And he ended up dying anyways, just from his ignorance. And the reason I'm bringing all that up is because, you know, they had the big fight about, oh, you think you're better than me, and I got all the bad genes. And there's this big conversation between them, or argument, or whatever you want to call it. And it really tells a story about Metal Gear Solid, the original part 1, and how impactful, you know, you worrying about these things, and look at my heritage, and this is how I look, or this is how I am, and this is what I was born into, and that doesn't matter. You have to redefine who you are every single day, and just be yourself and live. And that is the message. And that is a powerful message, because we get characters like Naomi, who basically try to assassinate Snake and everybody else because she felt like she lost herself, and she was trying to find herself through her genes. So all of this is a big part of part 1, and it opens the door to the future and makes it very special. So the reason I'm bringing that up, and the reason it's important for people to understand, is that in the end of the day, you have to respect who you are, what you do, and not worry about all of the background noise. And that's where, as people, we have to be better. We have to do better. So that's just part 1. And then part 2 goes down a big rabbit hole that I'm not going to get into. But how many of you know what a meme is? A meme. A real meme. Not the internet troll meme. All right? And it's a lot deeper than what most would know. But it's all about an idea, a behavior, spreading it from person to person within a culture. That's what a real meme is meant to stand for. And for Metal Gear Solid 2, without getting into all of the VR and insane psychological damage that the game caused the world, but to get into the general message about the memes. And there's a worry with the main character, Raiden. about passing on his good genes to his children, passing on good genes to the future generations. And how do we do that? And what are we supposed to do? Because, I'm sorry, not genes, memes. And what I mean by that is your genes can define someone's physical attributes. They're a little tall, they're lighter, darker, they have different color hair or eyes. And that is what your genes do. But memes, it's more about your culture and your passion, your compassion, your joy. Those things are passed on through memes and not the modern day memes, right? Don't troll me. But that passion is created through sharing your life with someone. And as we move forward, we have to focus on that and realize that it's important on how we act and react to the world. And that's where Metal Gear Solid 2's true message and true purpose is all about. And being a genius that he is, Kojima really is special with how he presents that to the world for Metal Gear Solid 2. And again, today we're not diving into each of these installments. We'll be here a lifetime trying to do so. I'm trying to skip through all of them as fast as possible so people can get somewhat of a wrap around story of the Metal Gear series. And it's interesting because Metal Gear Solid 2 has such a deep concept. And one of the endings of Metal Gear Solid 2 is a message directly to the players where Raiden is wondering what's real and what is not. Was this all just a simulation? And Solid Snake tells him, hey man, forget about all that and just live. You decide and you pass on those good memes. It's funny saying that right now. But that's pretty much the core message for MGS 2. And then we jump into 3. And it goes down a deeper concept. And apologies here as we take a quick second. By the way, this is not scripted. There's no script. This is me just giving you guys some of my thoughts. So these messages continue for each installment. I'm not going to go through each game and talk about every detail that the games have. That's a lot to do. I don't mind doing it, but our focus is really about the series overall. So we touched on 1 and about genes. That theme and the message is, sure, your genes are what help you physically become who you are, but the person that you're going to be is defined by you. You decide that. You create that. That's why, like, this guy peeing his pants in this cutscene, he becomes a man. As we see, he starts fighting back and being true. And Otacon might look like a wimp all the time, but he's been one of the most important factors in these battles throughout the years of everything he's done. And it's a perfect example of fighting your fears. And then also the memes with MGS2, Otacon crying about his family being cursed and suffering the way they did. That message within the game, there's so many messages, but that message also about not passing on the memes, not passing on your culture and your, joys and your passions and stuff like that. And that's where, MGS 2 really touches on, but MGS 3 takes you to another place. And again, these are all great games in gameplay and in storytelling. But what I'm talking about is the deeper behind the game message and how it affects us overall. So MGS 3 talks about scenes, and scenes really open the door for how things go within war, right? So in war, you always get the worst of the worst case scenario. People have to kill each other, and it's a really bad thing, right? So these scenarios, aka these scenes, are what define people. But this is where the game kind of opens the door and it tells you some heartbreak about a mentor and you fighting your mentor because times have changed and created an enemy out of a friend because of the times, and it affects everybody. And this is where the main character is forced to kill his mentor in a scene, and it's like he can't control it. He has to do it to save himself, to save the country, to save the world. He has to take out his own mentor, and it is a crazy thing. And what's funny later on, of course, is he finds out his mentor purposely sacrificed herself so that he can kill her and so that America can prove its innocence. And it's a sad truth, but within the game, and you're actually watching the visuals right now, this is the Metal Gear Solid 3. There's so many factors that play a big role. I don't know. You have to respect these messages that come in. And then it basically, in part 3, it basically tells you, don't be controlled by society. And don't let the times define who you are. There's some people who change the way they act and the way they are around certain people. And that's not okay. You have to always be yourself. So, that being said, the messages keep getting deeper and heavier. And that's cool, right? But we want to get into some of these really cool Kojima clips that we're going to be watching today. And I want you guys to do me a favor and do not, I repeat, do not take any of my words about Death Stranding to heart, because everybody seems to feel I have all the answers for this, because I've loved this series and I loved everything about it. So today I wanted to address some things that we do know while still keeping it like if we don't know these things. And there's going to be some very heavy story things that are going to be revealed that if you're watching this, most likely you already know about, hopefully. And I'm not just ruining it for you. But let's hope you're okay with getting these reveals and seeing what is happening. And we're going to go through all of it. All right, so worry about it because it's going to happen. And please respect Kojima for what he's doing. So we got into the Metal Gear series more or less and how he has deeper messages and deeper concepts. We're going to watch Death Stranding, analyze some things, talk about what's already known, and then you can speculate all you want. And that's where I'm going to open up the floor to anybody watching. They can come and hang out with me in a little bit. All right, so we're about to go. As you can see, actually, before we go, this footage here, Snake killing his mentor. Killing his mentor because of the times and society. Just a dark and sad truth about our society forcing us to go against each other in that way. I'm not okay with it. I don't respect it. I don't want it. And these are the messages Kojima is trying to spread and talk about. Is look, man, we can't be these type of people, and we got to redefine who we are as a society. We have to do better, and that's why I love him so much. And we're gonna go ahead and watch these clips, not just one clip. It's gonna watch a bunch of clips and talk about Death Stranding. And this time around, how could I put this? There are spoilers in here for Death Stranding that I am going to talk about. Pretty much has already been out in the public, and I do hope you take it with a grain of salt because in development things can change. And then some of what I'm going to say, I'm going to try to elaborate and explore ideas within the truth of what we already know. I'm trying to keep that vague until later, but let's just go ahead and take a look at some of these situations. First and foremost, the Kojima logo and overall amazing logo. Got a nice little clip here of a man exploring some planet with some weird whale hologramic graphic. Just a really amazing. And this all ties into the game. And this is a part of the game in many ways. More than we know. And we'll get back into that a little bit later when we rewatch that. So you're watching the actual trailers for Death Stranding, and you get amazing stuff. And this game is about time travel. This game is about a whole new world and something very, very different happening to our world. And how do I know that? Well, there's this thing called time fall. It's like rain falling down, but the rain affects life. So it can fast forward life. I believe it's going to rewind life also. That being said, Death Stranding is really about life connections. And these footprints on the floor are players that are stuck in the stranded death scenes. So one of the main mechanics in this game is death. After you die, you go into this realm where you're stranded within death. And within that area, you can explore and try to find clues and pick up items. And we'll see that a little later when you see Norman Reedus, aka Sam Porter Bridges, floating in some water. That's where he is. He is in the death state. And it's one of the most important parts of the game because it's where players connect also. And this is something that I'm really excited to see the reveal for. A lot of people didn't put those puzzles together, but it's real. And we'll get into all these smaller details like his chain, the stomach cuts, the prints on his arms. All of that is important. But in the end of the day, the key part is what I'm telling you about Death Stranded, aka it's where players connect and bring life together within the game. So all of these clues, while you're dead, you get a timer to explore. And it's a very, very different and very special. You're in first person and you're looking around and you'll see Norman Reedus and you could look at his body. Shit, pretty interesting thing that Kojima is doing with that. A little bit dirty, to say the least, because he's gonna have naked Reedus all the time. Like it's gonna be a lot of naked Reedus in this game. But hey, man, I love it. I think it's a fun. The idea alone is very revolutionary, very special to make players feel something totally different. And that being said, the Death Stranding concepts of these visuals that you're seeing are simpler than you think. So it's not just Earth, right? And it's all of these weird abstract situations like the prints on the floor, the oil, and why are the whales stranded, and what are these strings? And there's a lot of questions and a lot of, but it's a very simple storyline. And this is another spoiler that I don't want to get too deep into. Sam Porter Bridges has a sickness. If he touches things, he feels a lot of pain, and he goes through some very psychological and physical issues because of this. And what happens is the story is driven by that. Him being a delivery guy, man who always delivers. That's his job, but he has an issue and he's suffering from something. And at the same time, you're in this very dynamic, insanely odd, amazingly beautifully scripted world where you see these planes with these strings attached, or and most likely they won't have those strings attached, and you see these organ tanks that are going to pass, or the soldiers of skulls, and you see Norman Del Toro with this little baby tank. He plugs it into himself. All of these weird things are just a distraction to the simple story and the simple message behind Death Stranding. And to really open a door for you, um, Kojima connects everything, his real life, for every game. This isn't happening for the first time in Death Stranding. Every single game has connected directly to his personal life. When MGS4 came out, the old Snake, that was a reference to him and to who he was. When the Phantom Pain came out and everything happening in his life, that was a reference there. These are all a part of what's going on. So with Norman Reedus, and this is where the story plot, the Norman Reedus' sickness is driving the story. He's supposed to be the hero to save the day, but he can't connect to people because of his sickness. And that irritation, that pain that he will feel, he'll have to overcome within the story. And of course, exactly how the story goes, I don't have the script. But he has to overcome this to save the world. He has to overcome this. Connecting to those caught in the Death Stranded areas, aka the other players, us, as when we die, we go into this state, exploring and looking for clues. This is facts, guys. And now, within the story, Norman Reedus has to connect to life. And that's where all of this comes together as far as one of the deeper message. We are so disconnected in society through social media, through games, and through various aspects. As a streamer myself, I create these streams that are non-interactive sometimes, whether it's my esports or just these type of streams where I'm going on long rants. And a lot of people get mad because they want to just connect. And I don't disagree with that. But sometimes I need this time to vent and to pour it out. That being said, Kojima is opening that door in the real world. You guys have to connect. And if you guys remember, PT had some very special mechanics that made players come together and figure out some things. And the Death Stranding will have the exact same formula, plus the second side of these mechanics that will connect players also with the clues within that Death Stranding area. And we're going to see it in one of these trailers coming up where Norman Reedus is in that death area, and you'll see the camera pan around him. You'll see it move towards different items. You're going to have that state that you can be in when you die and explore. But now, There's not going to be enough to find everything in one shot. You're going to have to do it in different areas. So the game's purposely focusing on death as a key part to find out the clues of what's coming or what is or what isn't. And this is where it's really cool. And this is where I really love about Kojima the most. And his small innovations like that, but having the deeper message for the players about connecting and getting back to real life and don't get stuck in that dying. And here we go right here. This is the perfect time to talk about what I originally talked about, time falls. You can see those plants when the rain, aka timefall, fell on it, it caused them to shriver. And we'll see in a minute a guy who starts getting old because the rain starts hitting him. And the same thing goes for various items in this game. It's a very important topic. So if rain, aka timefall, hits you and it controls time and manipulates life, that is a game about time travel. That is a game about everything that you would expect from time travel. A very special way to present time travel. What's really cool is the Death Stranding part of the game. When you're stranded in death and you're in a giant ocean of timefall. That's the special part. And that's where the game really changes. And it can be something very special. A mechanic about death that is the focus of the story, but also its own unique experience like no other. And that's where Kojima's a genius. And again, Sam's story, not wanting to connect with people and not being able to, if something touches him, it literally physically hurts him. So, we'll get into all of that part of it. But these are just the small concepts. And if you're looking here, these handprints are us, the player. All of us. As we're stuck in the Death Stranding, these handprints appear. This is like another player. This is a symbol, a sign of other players trapped in the death state. That's what those deeper messages are supposed to mean. And that's what these concepts are supposed to bring to us. That's what this makes it so great. And for players who don't realize, there's a bigger message, it's going to be just a simple, fun game. And it might sound crazy and I'm getting too deep and that, this is too much. I don't know. I just want to play a game. Perfectly fine. You can play this game and have fun with the mechanics and the gameplay and be like, oh, this is cool. Or you can start diving deeper into other parts. And it's really awesome to think about it. Because you see, they say don't breathe. These things down are searching for answers. Those handprints are the players trying to find the answer. Trying to connect to life. And there you go. And one funny thing was somebody found Kojima's head trying to pull down somebody in these clips. And we're not going to focus on all that. We're not going to have fun with all the good stuff. But we want to keep talking about the main core message of this game as the focal point. Right? So you have timefall affecting time itself and time travel in different ways. And then you have these players that are caught in a death state and they're trying to get out, trying to find clues. And it's such a unique experience and something very special. And these guys here are not trying to get captured by it. This is where we see the Kojima thing, I believe. And there's still mystery within the story to be had, and small explanations about this world and how did it come to this place. And again, I'm 100% certain that nuclear Anti nukes will be another message for this game. It'll be a very important message because that's what Kojima's all about. Anti nukes. So expect that. And that's where, as a player, I'm really gonna have fun with all of these smaller explanations to things. This Titan that we see here, you know, the gods have come. You know, let's get into the God of War game. But you see this Titan here, and what are they doing? Are they saving the world, or are they destroying it? And who's to say who's the bad guy, good guy in all of this, right? Society's nuked the world to the point where all these quantum leaps of society get into it. But we'll get into that in a minute. Look at this. This is the Death Stranding area that I'm talking about. This is why the game's concept and message is important. Right here, this is actual gameplay. You're going to be in third person outside of Norman Reedus, and you're going to be able to explore this area, search for clues and answers as you move forward. And as you do so, you'll find important things that might not make sense to you, but that's where us as the players have to find a way to solve these riddles. There might be different languages, things that we need to try to understand. There might be just weird clues that we got to look online for, things like that. So, this is a very special part. This is a very special segment of the trailer and how it all makes sense. And that's where, my hope is that this will bring the world together in a different way, a special way. And that's where Kojima's so great. Those small little worm-like looking creatures. I have this really cool video I'm gonna put up tonight about it. How they survive any amount of freezing, any amount of heat, thousands of years they can survive. Those things they've been around before mankind, and there will be around before mankind. And I do believe we're gonna do something for a second here. All right, folks, we're gonna go back to this trailer and we're gonna slow it down just a little bit. And the reason why is because it's important for you guys to think about it, think long and hard. Every question you ever had about love, hate, and God, life and death, your first and last breath, everything you ever had to everything you ain't got left now. Think about it. The heart of this rhyme, every unspoken word to every unwritten line, every stab in the back. If I only had a dime for every kid that fronted on me, man, the world would be mine. From the sunrise to the sunset, there's work to be done. Can't let you change me from the man that I work to become. See heads run while I walk through the fire and blood. Pray to the Lord, save me from this fire and mud. When I felt like busting slugs, I put my thoughts in God's mind frame. When the time came, man, I couldn't find pain. Designing, it urged me to live my calling. Rocking for yes, y'allin'. Anyway, back to the topic. Sorry about that. All right, so we're going to get into a couple of key parts and the reason why it's important to just take a second and understand. So we're going to look at these visuals and I'm going to slow it down heavily here. As I was saying to you guys, there's a lot of different parts to this game. And the main things that nobody knows, I don't know, and it's simple stuff to explain. It's not a big deal. How did it get to this state, right? So there was a Big Bang, and then all of this chaos happened. The Big Bang most likely is a nuclear strike that the world has done to destroy itself. That's Kojima's message. From there, it opened up wormholes, portals, whatever you want to try to throw in as a filler, to other dimensions, creating time fall, creating these titans to come into the earth. A lot of people will look at, and as they play this game, they'll look at all of these bad evil creatures and say they're so bad, they're so wrong. No. All right. There's never been a good guy in Metal Gear Solid. I know you guys love Raiden. You guys love Solid Snake. You love Big Boss. They all been a bunch of terrible people. They've killed people. They've had nuclear weapons. They've caused more wars. They continue to. It's just terrible. And right here, you're looking at a Titan that looks like he's evil, devouring a human being. But in reality, he's probably bringing the human being into the realm of real life. Because all of these guys here, like Norman Reedus, are caught in a death state. They cannot get out of death. They'll die and they'll keep coming back. And they keep destroying the areas. As you can see here, these are two separate scenes. I don't believe once this explosion happens that you go into the death state. I disagree with that belief. But falling into this death state, this is where you got to understand the mechanic and the principle about this. Every time you die in the game, you enter this brand new realm where you're roaming, floating in the water, looking at Norman Reedus. This is you looking at him. So this isn't a cutscene. This is you looking at him in the water after you die. This is what you will see. And then you can explore the area for a limited amount of time. What's very special is Norman Reedus can't touch anything without feeling a lot of pain and going through suffering. And this is something that the story will drive through this death mechanic also. And that's where this whole game gets very deep, very dark, very heavy, very serious in a beautiful way for society to respect and appreciate each other. And to connect, regardless of how much pain we might feel, we need to stay attached. As you can see here, these handprints on his body just show you how much pain he's been going through and how much suffering he's been in. That's what these prints are representative of. And being in this death state, looking around at Norman Reedus, is going to be a beautiful visual. It's a little creepy because there's some creeps out there that's going to try to look at his body and stuff. But I wouldn't care for him. And after a good hour of just exploring any clues on him, or less than that, I'm going to go around this area and try to find clues within this death state, because it's a small timer of how long you can be in there. And I don't know if it'll be 30 seconds, 60 seconds. I think Kojima will test play that first and then figure out what works. But these are all facts. These are not theories of anything I've said so far. These are actual just stuff Kojima talked about in interviews. And if he didn't talk about it, some of the voice actors did. And again, this right here, I just want to talk about that. See, the creature grabbing a human, he's probably saving them from destroying the earth. And these creatures are probably trying to help preserve the earth. And we're looking at them as the evil doers at the moment and some, the enemies of the state. But in reality, I have 100% belief, and this is all theory, of course, but I have 100% belief that a lot of these guys will be the good guys. And as far as like, if you had to do a scale, they would be the ones trying to save the earth also. So these humans have polluted the earth, destroyed the earth with their nukes, done disastrous things, and these type of creatures, even some enemies, will be the good guys trying to help. Just like Ocelot has always been a hero trying to save things and do the right thing in the long run. The same way, the Metal Gear series in general just talks about that. So see, there's clues out here. There's something floating on the top right. And it's just overall, these are the things that you're going to be able to explore and get into. And the reason I slowed it down was so that you could pay attention to being able to go through. So now, once you connect back to him, and there you go, you picked up a clue right there. That is a dream catcher, guys. Once you connect to Norman Reedus, you're back in the game and playing regular. But this is exactly how the game will work. Once you connect back to him, you're done. You got to go back to reality. And it's a really beautiful mechanic. And I think that getting the players to find these clues and to do those things are going to be special. But the overall message, because of Norman Reedus' sickness, makes it even more special because he has to suffer and he has to go through all. Look at the handprints inside of the this right here, this whole area. There's already handprints within the side of him. If you look carefully, you'll see the handprints inside of him also. Not just this beautiful Kojima baby. You see the little handprints as it pulls out? That tells you the story behind the story. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the amazing parts of the game. And what survives more than anything on the world, these small creatures that he vomits out. And that tells you some stories. And why and how do they crawl up that way with nothing there? Those are the things that will be revealed. And I believe that Kojima will start revealing these things slowly, but most of it shouldn't be revealed. I honestly don't even want another trailer. I do because I'm a big fan, and I'm such a big fan. I'm making a stream about it and not even interacting with chat yet. But this is a live stream, guys. Okay, but what I mean is I don't want more information. I already know all of this that I'm telling you, and we got too much information for the story. I didn't want to know all that stuff. I didn't want to know Norman Reedus' sickness. I didn't want to know Timefall and how this game is about time travel and the devastations of society creating these quantum leaps, quantum physics issues where things are the way they're going right now. Like, look at these guys floating up. Like, it's just weird, man. But anyway, so all those issues, all of this craziness is too much information. And I would prefer to just speculate for the rest of the game. But I believe by tomorrow, 12, 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock p.m., most likely, I'm guessing that we'll have the reveal. And originally it's supposed to be on the 30th, but Japan time. I do believe that they will do it exactly at midnight, talk about it, and put it out there. Who knows? But I'm feel really blessed and happy about everything that's happening. So that's why I expressed. As you see him crying, those tears are from the pain he's feeling, and that's something that it's all explained through his sickness and his struggle. And now we're gonna get into some chat and some questions and some thoughts. And look at the chat. I haven't opened it up yet. We're going to get deep into that right now. First and foremost, thank you guys for hanging with me. It's always fun. It's always good. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, I'm going to go ahead and open up chat. We could just chat for a little while. When does this game release? Well, they're going to release it tomorrow, bruh. It's coming out tomorrow. That would be so crazy. Yeah. No one knows except Kojima, Sony, and pretty much whoever. I would expect it to come out next year around September, the latest. But if Kojima's my dog and he's gonna be a good man, he will gladly send it to us this year on September. All right, maybe not this year. Let's go with April 2020 on my birthday, April 10th, which is a Friday and makes a lot of sense. What do y'all think? Yes, no, maybe so. Let's go. I'm down. Those are the we don't know things, to be honest with you. There's nobody except those guys. They do have the date and they are probably announcing it tomorrow. Well, let's talk about that because somebody just asked that yes, tomorrow they will be most likely announcing the actual release date. It's already been out there that the speculation because of how they worded, and as a matter of fact, we're gonna have to get into some Twitter for a second. We are watching some pretty cool footage, but let me go into Twitter sphere, if that's even a word. We're going to go to Twitter, and we're going to look at Kojima. We're going to look at exactly what he's put out there, and I think it's best to go on to the Kojima account because there we can officially see the official words to what they're doing. All right. All right. All right. So here we are. One of the first cool trailers. Oh, wait a minute. How do I show that? Ah, the web. All right. Apologies if this gets a little hairy. It does. Sheesh. Take that off and take that off. There we go. All right. Here we are. So this first trailer that they show, it's not much. Let's look at it in the big screen here. It's pretty much a teaser, and it showcases a palm, which is what we saw. Imagine you being stuck in a deaf state, looking into the world, trying to figure out what is going on. How do I get out? And that's what's happening here. And it's a pretty good little metaphor. Really, the game footage is just behind it, but the message is more about the palm and being stuck in the deaf state, trying to get out to the real world. So that's where the message comes in, and what it says um, is create the rope. But let's look at this one right here. This is the tweet of the day, the most special tweet. The countdown of Death Stranding has started. The countdown, meaning that, most likely meaning when we will get to play this game. And it says May 29th is when we'll figure it out and everything will start being revealed. Create the rope is the conversation about connecting. And I said Death Stranding, I've always said this for the past 3 years. Death Stranding means life connections. And I've tweeted that over and 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 over. And life connections, folks. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? So that's what create the rope also means. You have the metaphor within the game that Kojima talked about a long time ago, where everybody uses guns and sticks and knives and all this to fight and to, live. And that's how they evolved. And the game's all about evolving. And he talked about that before. That's where their homo ludens are pretty much the deeper message. There's a book about it where it talks about how human is evolved from Homo sapiens to Homo ludens, and basically it means those who play. So as a society, the first thing that we ever did in humanity was just try to survive, right? We were brutes, go out and kill everything, kill each other, and go crazy. As we got older, we got a little more sophisticated, supposedly. But supposedly we got more sophisticated and we evolved, but mostly we destroyed the world. But that's a different conversation that goes into the game. But what's special about it is the message that we need to connect more because we've lost connection through our evolution of life and becoming more than just people who are trying to survive using sticks. We have found ways to connect. We have found ways to use the rope in life. We have to do it better. And Kojima's message and his concept in the game is exactly that. We have to connect more. We have to be together more. And that's not just the message, but it's also a mechanic. And as you've seen Norman Reedus and everyone else connect to the baby, you've seen the so-called bad guy, Mads, when he was connected to the soldiers. All of these connections, right? But there's another one left, mechanic, that's going to be interesting to see how it works for the player and how it affects Sam Porter Bridges and his issues with his sickness, not being able to connect to people because it literally brings him physical pain and hurts him. So, anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see that. And then we just get more of the same type of footage, but extra handprints and extra words. So this time, help us reconnect. So just as I was saying, when you're stuck in these stranded type of areas, it's a big mechanic in the game. You're gonna have to find a way. But yeah, so just gotta love it. The last one here, tomorrow, is in your hands, aka the future is in your hands, and it has more hands, but it has the baby as the main focus on this one. And you gotta love what they're doing as far as the mystery and the fun small teases. It's really cool. It's very different, and that's what you want from games, you know. Anyway, for some reason, I still have like a throat thing. I was sick not so long ago, but yeah. So we gotta rewatch this trailer real quick that we haven't got to see yet. And in this trailer, it's more about some gameplay, but the message is very deep. And we should actually have the audio, guys.
Sam Porter Bridges, the man who delivers. Tears. Chiral allergy. So, you have dooms like me. What's your level?
I've got the extinction factor, but I think you got me beat.
You can see them, right?
No, but I can sense them.
Want to come work for me? Must be tough out here on your own.
I can't help you with that. I make deliveries. That's all.
I love it. This is the important part. These visuals show you the different areas and things like that. That's what it's supposed to be. But there's also a deeper message of him being alone, not connected to the world. And she says it herself. It must be lonely out here all by yourself. It's in a different world, different dimensions, different environments, dealing with things all alone. As you can see here, I believe he's using time fall to heal his wound. This is how you heal in the game. And that is not an actual fact, though. So don't take my word on that. But these type of visuals, there's a lot of stuff that people miss. Apologies, I missed a bunch of chat. Did I get to play the Death Stranding? I don't know, man. Did I? Can't talk about that. Is this a walking simulator? Come on. Hey, the background is sick. Thank you, man. If you're talking about my Otacon office, I appreciate it. And getting hype. Yes, I know. But anyway, so these mechanics, as we get into them, what is he really delivering? Why is it so important? Right? Why does he have these babies? What is going on in this society that they have to have a man walk around delivering stuff? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves. You see there's a camp in the background, pulling out a gun. But if you watch, it says, give me your hand in life. All of this plays a big role. And this right here tells you, look, his sickness of being touched. His whole body gets into this state here, like, oh my god. That's how he knows they're there also. Again, people trying to escape the Death Stranding state that they're in. That's these handprints. That's us, players. She's gonna be really cool in this game. So that's you, stranded in death, trying to find the answers. That's what's going to be really cool about this game. A new mechanic that hasn't been done before. And we can see the glowing beams right above. I don't know if you guys can see that. Give me your hand in death.
Headed into
in
town.
life. Tomorrow is in your hands.
Watch yourself. Those things never stay gone for long. The time full fast forwards whatever it touches. But it can't wash everything away. The past just won't let go. I'll see you around. Sam Porter Bridges.
Sam, what's your status? Chiralium density is still increasing.
My status is fucked. There's tons of them.
Can you sit out the rain?
No, they're closing in on my position. I have to move before they realize I'm in here.
Sam, if one of those things eats you, it'll trigger a void out. You'll come back, sure, but the surrounding area will still be a crater.
I got an idea.
Again, another really cool mechanic is this device here, which is going to play as your map, your assistant, your overall guide. The game. And it's also going to be the way you connect. And, they haven't showcased that. I think that's going to be next on tomorrow's setup. A lot of great stuff happening. Sony's done a great job allowing Kojima to be different. Present this that's what we gotta really future right, because I'm hoping games can explore ideas like this.
A crypto byte a day keeps the time fall away.
You're too late. You still don't know who I am, do you?
Who are you?
Kojima! So you take that into account. Also, and we're gonna rewind these and get back into them again to talk about it, man. But yeah, so I'm gonna see if I invite some people over to talk with me for a little bit. But I do wanna just continue this and answer questions this time and chat with everybody who's watching. If you're on Facebook, man, I have a problem with my streaming. Since I stream on 13 different places, I cannot see the comments on Facebook because it doesn't pop up on my chat over here. So I have to open them up manually to see them. And I don't really have a good spot right now. Excuse me. I don't have a really good spot for them. And I'll try to keep that open every once in a while. Appreciate the love and support, guys. So, how do I know about this thing? How do I know it's facts? Somebody asked. Well, Kojima, the voice actors, and staff have publicly presented all of this to us. And as a matter of fact, I actually don't even have all the evidence and clues. So there's a bigger issue here where there's a couple of guys online that work for Kojima that put out clues, and we still haven't decoded those. And he's starting to open up about the codes and what he was meaning and why he said certain things. And he's the lead guy, you know, marketing, and he's doing a good job, to be honest with you. I love him. But those are things that we got to get into another time. But anyway, back to this game. So you're watching the beginning. He most likely just woke up from a death state. And now that he's touching the baby, that hurts, physically hurts him. He's actually not crying because of the baby. People think, oh, something sad happened. No, he's crying from the actual physical pain. Let's just take a look at that. Again, he has a sickness. If he touches anything, it hurts his body physically. He feels pain. So right now, he's in excruciating pain. And I'm going to show it to you guys right here. I just wanted to discuss it. Alright, so let's take a look. He wakes up from his state. And he picks the baby up. And he's in pain. Every single part of this hurts him and his body. He's not supposed to be feeling that way, but that's how he feels because of his sickness. That right there, my friends, is exactly the struggle. And again, this is a reality. Now he's like, what? Is this real? Is this really happening? Is he hallucinating? How did he get all those prints in his hand? Now the baby's in a death state. It's gone too. So these are the really, really deeper parts that you gotta try to understand. But in the end of the day, Norman Reedus is suffering from a sickness. He's a delivery guy. He's in this really odd world trying to figure out what is going on. It's pretty basic. There's these quantum physics things, chains, where it talks about things like that and how that works. And then there's these supernatural beings. Very special, to say the least, the way they presented this. So, small little details like that, him crying, him hurting, looking like he's hurting when he's holding the baby. Again, it is explained through his sickness, and that's a spoiler alert for the story. That's the driving force of one of the messages of connecting to society, to the world, even though it hurts. And we can start getting into the crazy stuff because I see a lot of people's comments. Someone says, "This is Metal Gear, don't lie." Well, there is no doubt that Kojima loves to connect everything together. So already there's a lot of Metal Gear in this game. You take the 5 beans up top, you'll take some of the gestures that they have. You know, you take the sneaking element, which is going to be a key part also. You take the nuclear void when you die popping up on the map. So these are all very special things. And they're all Kojima-esque. Everything's connected to Metal Gear also. It's connected to Kojima's legacy. So you have Silent Hill, you have Metal Gear. Every single series that he's ever thought about and created, the freedom to explore them in different ways. So when I see this picture, I see blood. I don't see black. I see blood. The oil is blood. I don't see organs. I don't see strands like that right there on the plains. Those are all imaginary. Let's just turn this game into a basic, you know, World War II type of thing. Take out these organs on this tank and it's just a tank. Right? It's just a regular tank of the old days. Nothing major. And then take these soldiers who are also just regular soldiers without those wires connected to them. Look at it from that light. Look at it from that view. There's just water and blood, and it's just craziness. That's just me being a silly. But Kojima's going to have a lot of things revealed within these trailers that weren't there that are going to be in the game. Some of these trailers, parts of these trailers might not be in the game. And it's just the way Kojima works. He kind of manipulates it, has fun with it, and then at the end has a little something different than what you could expect. And that's why I'm toying with the idea of this liquid not being black and being red. And all of the skull soldiers actually being humans and not being skulls, and the tank not having the organs, and all of those weird things being normal. And that wouldn't be as fun, of course. But the moral is Kojima's going to break your mind and change your opinion by changing some of this in a different way. You see how the water's red? Told you. But so it's really cool concept, really cool game. I think people over exaggerate when they try to make it more than it is. Even me right now, I talked about some of the main messages and the themes, but outside of that, there's not much you can do other than just have fun with it and see what could be. And exploring the ideas of what could be is a really fun part of this concept. Like, for example, this dude connected to these soldiers and then he disconnects to send them out. Some creepy ass stuff, man. But I love it. And then you take this disappearing of those. Those are very interesting concepts, and we'll see how the end results play out for this. But you got to think about it. Like, for example, he gave them life, connected them to give them life. That is interesting mechanic there. And he looks like a bad guy, but I'm pretty sure he's one of the good guys. And no Kojima game has good guys. Like, his messages are all about anti-war, and nobody's good. All this war and all this stuff always has a deeper message. And that's what's pretty beautiful. And I think Mads is going to be such a powerful force in the game. And Kojima admires him so much. He loves everything he does, and he's been supporting him for a while now. But to have him in the game, there's no way he's going to just be a bad guy. He's probably going to be the ocelot of this series here, and he's probably going to rejuvenate the game with, after you play it the second time, you say, wow, Mads was trying to help. Mads was trying to fix these problems that we got going on. Mads was actually working with us. You know? So, there's only so much
Once
you can't
there was an
expect.
explosion, a bang which gave birth to time and space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
So, the bang that gave life as we know it. And then the bang that changed it all, pretty much. So, bang, bang. Bang, bang. What is the bang? How does it affect us? That Titan, is he the good guy or bad guy in this game? The big giant creature. I don't think he's a bad guy. I honestly don't. I think these guys are trying to preserve the Earth. I believe the humans destroyed it to the point of quantum physics changing everything about it and turning it into what it is. If this is Earth, if this is another planet, then cool. But you know, those are the type of things that you got to be very interested on. And again, remember Timefall, but we're gonna also dive into the character building. Understand that this guy dying wasn't something that they wanted, but also they weren't gonna allow these creatures to take them. And you gotta explore the idea and explore why in the hell was that such an important thing? Why was it that they were trying to not allow these creatures to take them? And theory, of course, is, in my theory, of course, I believe for humans, they believe that these creatures are becoming stronger, more powerful, taking over the world type of thing. But I also believe that in reality, these creatures and these things from these other dimensions are trying to save the Earth and bring it back to a normal state. It's possible. If you want to flip the story and make it so that the creatures are the ones trying to do right, while all these humans are trying to destroy the world, the creatures are trying to bring it back to normal. And it's a good idea, it's a good concept, it's a good thought to create this anti-war message that Kojima likes to have in the games. And spoiler alert, if you ever played Horizon Zero Dawn, anybody played Horizon Zero Dawn? If you did, then you'll know that Horizon Zero Dawn has a really awesome message also. But as we see this, we're going to see what I was talking about that's very important here. This guy literally is to the point where he's going to try to stop them from taking this man alive by killing him. That is ridiculous, but it's a reality that we see in this game. Headshot. And that right there is, wow. You try to save him, but then when they try to take him, you kill him. You see Mads tells him to be quiet and points. That might not be Mads, but I believe it might be. But these are very, very wild ideas, right? These creatures are so deadly, you just have to kill yourself to not allow them to take you. And why they're saving the baby, what is so important. And these are the questions you gotta ask. And it's like, oh, that's interesting. But at the end of the day, everything I just said, it spoiled the game for you guys. It's done. Like, the main core message is done. Now you're just gonna get cool gameplay, explanations to crazy things like this gravity issues, how this quantum physics become what it was, things like that. Why is this guy killing himself? You know what I mean? Simple things within the game that people will ask. No one has an answer to right now, but we'll know soon enough. And I love it. I'm excited about it, and I'm sure we'll get some really amazing content as we go from Kojima tomorrow. So I'm gonna do a reaction video live stream tomorrow, so that anyone wants to hang out with me and get into this topic, and I'm gonna have guests come speak with me on Discord. We'll set you up. But anyway, so if you heard everything I had to say, that Titan right there, probably trying to save the world in a way, and then this whole scene right here is actual gameplay, and you're in third person, looking at Norman Reedus, moving around, collecting clues as you go. These are the mechanics for the death. Every time you die, you're in this state right here, and you're running around trying to figure out what is happening in the world. And again, these creatures are trying to save the Earth, is my guess. It's what I believe. They're trying to save the Earth. And I know it sounds crazy. How are they saving Earth if they're swallowing people? Well, they swallow the people because the people are nuclear reactors. Nuclear or something. I don't know. I can't tell you the excuses Kojima's going to create for why. But these are just things that I believe are going to drive the story in the positive light that Kojima likes to do, with anti-war and a deeper positive message. So that right there is how we come back to the life after our death state, after finding clues. And there's it. We're back in the fight of the real world and in the gameplay portion. These creatures, again, like I said, they live forever. They are probably the longest living creatures known to man. I would think they're one of the most. As a matter of fact, do I have a video? I'm gonna upload a video to myself. So that's a weird thing to do, but we're gonna do that right now. And let's see. I want to upload this video. Oh, wait a minute. Forget it. I don't have the full video. It's terrible. Thanks. So, I was going to put up a video so you guys can see something special that I have on my phone, but it's not on this phone. I have a second phone. But there you go. You got everything I can give you without getting into deep, crazy theories and concepts. Pretty much what Kojima talked about in a smaller, simpler fashion. Hope that helped. What I'm expecting is a deep message about, society and us as humanity, how we've evolved, but also how we devolved, if that's a word. We've come from, just cavemen to high technology and all of this really great concepts, but we're still have a long way to go, and we have to connect with each other more, and we're not connected the way we need to be. So the game's message is about connecting and figuring it out together and coming together. And Norman's story is that exactly of a man who can't figure it out. He's all alone in his own world doing a bunch of different great things, supposedly, but he's not connected. And he's lost touch with himself with society, and physically he's literally got a sickness that he can't touch people because it hurts his body. So we're gonna see a ton of great things tomorrow. I hope the explanation isn't too revealing. I'll be very sad. I feel like we already got too much. I don't need to see anything else, man. I really don't. Honestly speaking, and I know that's crazy from a guy making a stream who's been streaming for an hour and a half talking about Kojima. I don't want to see nothing. I'm going to be the first person obsessed with watching what happens. But I wish I wasn't. I wish I could avoid it, because I know he's going to reveal too much tomorrow, and then a lot of the mystery of the game is going to be gone. A lot of the, like, knowing Sam has this sickness is crazy. Knowing Timefall is healing him right now. It kills that cool mechanic that I wanted to figure out. All of that stuff, like, they found a way to manipulate time and create a shower, guys. Like, you do understand how sick that is? So Timefall fast forwards life, right? So if you create a shower to manipulate Timefall enough so that you can heal your wounds, like we see in this trailer. And let's go back to that for a second, just so you guys can get my point. So right now, he's using Timefall in this shower to heal all these wounds. As you can see, they're slowly healing away as he showers. You know, all of these crazy things that basically time travel is going to be a big factor in the game. And I love it. And while most people look at this specific trailer with, nah, there wasn't much in there and I don't know what's going on, man, the action is going to be the action. There's going to be some situations you're going to be put in. But seeing all this tells you got a big game. You got different environments. You have different scenarios where you're not riding that bike. Will you be able to ride that bike? I'm pretty sure they will have the bike where you can ride in certain areas. I'm guessing. I don't know. Someone asked, will they be multiplayer? Man, I don't believe so. Honestly, he's going to probably use Journey. That game was so good. Journey had a mechanic where people will come into your world and they can kind of help you figure out where to go and what to do. I remember when I played Journey. It's an independent game. You can look it up. When I played Journey, I was stuck in an area and then some other being was there. And I was like, is this a tutorial? Because the other being was doing everything. I couldn't hear them or talk to them, but they were going where I needed to go and stopping and jumping up and down trying to wait for me. And I'm like, what is this thing doing here? And I was like, oh, let me follow it. I followed it and figured out the area because of that being. And I believe that Death Stranding's mechanic for multiplayer online aspect is going to be that small little thing where someone can jump into your Death Stranded area also. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works, and hopefully they don't reveal it. I don't know. I don't know about that too much, but I'm pretty sure they'll reveal it, which I don't want them to. I want it to be just like figure it out when you play the game and just like, oh wow, that's crazy. Death Stranding makes sense now. The title makes sense now. Anyway, that is the format, guys. That's what I believe will come with the multiplayer portion, aka co-op-ish. Co-op-ish. Something that's never been done, that's for sure. And moving my mic here. All right, so what else do we got for you guys? A bunch of questions about tomorrow. I don't know the time. I'm hoping. So this is the deal. They tweeted the 29th for America and the 30th for Japan time. Japan is just about 13-hour difference from America. All right. At least from what I know, they're about 13 hours ahead, to be exact. So if they're 13 hours ahead and we're getting a trailer on May 30th, I would think it's either 12 at night our time or I'm sorry, 12 in the afternoon in Japan time is 11 a.m. our time. But I would most likely go for American time because this is Sony right now, and they will most likely want to do it for the state of play. And I don't know. It's complicated, but either way, I don't think they'll have the window specifically unless they're connecting it to play. There is something really cool. Speaking of that, let's take a detour. We're gonna do a detour here, and I'm going to open up Twitter again so that everybody can see one cool thing. One cool thing. So there's this last piece of the puzzle, which is very important also. And it's crazy. PlayStation legit got this going on. Let me pause these videos so that we can get into it. All right, so now we're going to watch. Where is it? Turn this off. Why? All right, here we go. Apologies, guys. I'm working on this. All right, so basically, PlayStation, since this has been giving me a hard time, PlayStation has put out a pretty cool video, if you ask me. Pretty cool video. It's a live stream on their Twitch account for the PlayStation. If you go to PlayStation on Twitch, this is what you'll see. And to try to analyze it is going to be silly. There's still clues in here if you look carefully. But it's not much, you know. You got to analyze. What I would analyze the most is how this water, when there's no handprints, how it creates probably a shape of something. And you can have, the title or the release date on them. That'll be interesting if somebody can take the time, which I'm definitely not going to even think about. But creating the shape, using the water shapes, creating a game title and the release date. That would be cool if someone could create that. If it was true, that'd be a smart marketing move. But no one knows, right? These are just mysteries. But this small teaser that you're looking at really is just a part of what we're doing as far as the community. So now everybody's figuring it out and looking at some clues and looking at the moon and the stars and what are we seeing here? What is going on in this trailer? It just, like I said, I believe that the clues about the baby and what's inside or what's going on aren't that big of a deal. I think more is just like, all right, get ready, get hyped. If somebody finds something, it'll be later. I think they'll change this by tomorrow. It'll consistently be something different. until they officially announce it. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. I had fun. It's a lot. I'm going to stream right after this and just hang out with the community and talk, play some Metal Gear games or something. So if you want to hang out with me, go ahead. Apologies, I didn't open up the forum. Some people said they want to come by. We'll do that a little later. We got this out the way. I want this to upload on YouTube as soon as possible, and then we'll go from there. It has been a pleasure, an honor, a privilege to kick it with you guys. If I didn't answer your questions, apologies. This was more just like throwing out my thoughts. I have to get it out. I got to get it out. But yeah, so Kojima's messages are very special and important to the games. People miss out on them. They don't really reach them and talk about them and feel them and really get into them because the gameplay's fun. The overall concepts and themes and other things are really cool also. So they don't get into that part of it. But I do believe that Death Stranding, the core aspects of the story so far of Norman's sickness and the society and the world that we're living in as far as that game, where nobody's connected and people are trying to get out of death, the death area, how that's how the players will connect. So thank you, peace and love. I'll be right back in less than 15 to 20 minutes or so. I want to let this upload and then I'll be right back on. All right.